it's great to meet you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to getting into your work and your mission and your vision. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's begin our conversation with this. Probably something that affected your work quite a bit. 5 years ago, this pandemic was changing our lives and doing a lot of things. How did you get through the pandemic of 2020, and how has that radiated into your world right now in 2025?
I guess the pandemic was my starting point when I started everything. The podcast, I have single parent success stories. I'm a podcast host, and um, a lot of things happened. I used to had a corporate job, so I was working at the time at home, and I found I got a lot of things happen. I was able to connect from so many people across the world, and I felt like the pandemic had been this great awakening. I don't know how to say otherwise. I
Yeah.
felt like I was sleeping for, I don't know, the most part of my life. And finally, when pandemic happened, I started learning a lot and diving into personal development and growth and experiencing all sort of things. So for me, pandemic was great as I was able to get back to myself and discover more of the talents and the gifts that I had. I was able to heal more and study more, and it's been a great experience. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, I hear that a lot. I mean, it doesn't take away from what we were going through in regards to the virus, but I totally get that. So there's a lot of things that are going on with you with coaching and writing and all of the good work that you're doing. But to boil it down to something that we all can understand, I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's career day, and the kid in the back of the room that's really curious is like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What's your answer?
I help people realize that the happiness they seek outside is actually on the inside of them.
What did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream job?
I think it was fashion designer,
Okay.
creating things.
So take me back to your childhood, where you were born and raised. What were these foundational elements that A allowed you to have this job in life for a while where you didn't realize you wanted to be there, you wanted something else, you awoke? How did all of those things kind of get planted in you to evolve to this point where you're enlightened and you know who you are?
So from starting from childhood, I was always a creative child. I love creating things. I love designing, painting, crafting. So that's where the desire of having my own fashion design company came, but I don't have it now, but that was my dream.
Yeah.
And then what have evolved, what had unfolded, I became a single parent. And that kind of started my journey of a 5 year old and a newborn. And I was living in a miserable state of being for about a year, waiting for somebody to come rescue me. And of course, nobody did. And during that time, what happened also, I had that, I guess, identity crisis. I was someone else's mom, someone else's spouse, but I didn't know who I was, what made me me. Because when you come into relationship and sometimes we meld and blend with our spouse, we start doing things, we start thinking, we start finishing each other's sentences. And oftentimes, when you don't have that kind of, we have the warning bells when some kind of dispute or an argument occurs and think, oh, it's not a big deal. Why should I say anything? But what happens when we don't respond, when we keep that voice down, we forget about ourselves. We lose ourselves in the process when it happens over and over and over again. And then a year later, you can turn around, look at yourself, and realize, I don't know who that person is, what that created that. So my journey, I guess, to awakening is that I wanted to rediscover who I was. I wanted to be happy again. I didn't know how, when, or what, but I decided however I was living wasn't working and I needed to do something different. And that kind of started my journey. Coming back to myself, that was back in 2015. And I believe we are holistic beings. We operate in four states of being simultaneously: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And it is up to us to create habits that allow us to thrive in those states of beings. And that's how my journey started, was from physical state.
So it seems like a lot of people get to this point in life where they just get kind of lost. They're not quite sure who they are, what they're supposed to be doing. And I would imagine a lot of that is owned to, I hear it from corporate America a lot. Corporate America has a way of kind of zapping everybody's real essence. and then being a parent. And but they're essential. We have to have work, we have to have meaning, we procreate, we fall in love, all of those things. But in your line of work with coaching and helping people, what's the first thing that people have to get over when they find that place where they don't quite know who they are and they want to live more freely and fully?
First of all, is taking radical responsibility for your life and realizing where you are. And I'm not talking about going and blaming yourself for what happened in the past or who you were, because we are constantly evolving and changing, but making kind of that stance in the sand and drawing the line. Yes, this is who I was, but now I want to do something different. So taking responsibility for your life, for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And from that moment, then moving forward, accepting where you are, but realizing also that you still have the power to write what comes next. You are the author and you hold the key to what you can create.
And doing that requires courage and risk. Were you afraid when you made that step in your life?
I think I was at, you gotta be sick from something so, so bad
Yeah.
that staying sick hurts you more than changing.
Yeah.
But you have to be fed up with something before you take that bold decision. And of course, when I started writing, when I started my podcast, I had that imposter syndrome that I had to overcome. Who am I? Who's going to listen to me? I'm a
Uh-huh.
nobody. I
Uh-huh.
don't have a degree in English. English is not even my first language, yet I was able to become an author and create a podcast. And I think goes to say that it's never too late to follow your dream.
Yep.
It is never too late to become what you want.
Yep.
You are the only one holding yourself back. Oftentimes, we become our own worst executioner, judge, and performer. We're on the show of our life where we are the performer, and then we get to judge our own performance. And you're gonna be the harshest judge in your life versus when somebody else like looking inside you. Somebody on the sidelines can say, wow, you have done so much, you did this and this and this, and inside you're thinking, I'm not doing enough, I'm
Right.
falling behind.
Yeah.
So we have this life and we judge ourselves and we spend so much time in that self-criticism and unworthiness, and we waste a life because life is so short.
Yeah.
What we don't realize, we think, oh, we have this another day, another decade to follow a dream, and we make the cemetery the richest place on earth because this is where ideas go to die. Maybe the next cancer research or something incredible that only you possess, only you have, because you were given that dream, that gift, and nobody else has. And maybe they don't understand you, but it's up to you to find what it is, realize it, and share it with others.
Who has been that consistent inspiration or heroic force in your life that has allowed you to stay strong, to find your voice, to find who you are?
I think over the years, it's been Mel Robbins, then Tony Robbins, Brandon Bouchard. Uh, who else? I love this book by Jeff Olson that's called The Slight Edge. So looking at those people and helped me kept going, and also even Carmichael, who inspired me to do the work I'm doing. I was at Phoenix, Arizona in it was 2019. It was a live event, and he had a speech on stage, and he said, "There is not enough belief in this world today, and you should help somebody who is a step behind you." And so this is how everything started.
So you're the best-selling author of the book The Gift Inside, and I'm curious, anytime you go into a venture where you have to write, you have to almost put a mirror up to yourself. Was it difficult to write the book? Was it painful? No?
Um, it wasn't so much painful because I've done this is my was book number six.
Yeah.
I've done seven books altogether,
Yeah.
and I started by writing small chapters, and then I finally aggregated and wrote The Gift Inside, which is my whole creation. I guess I got stuck on chapter seven. It was a difficult chapter. It's called Becoming Free from Victimhood, and it was a big kind of, I had to overcome something inside of me to kind of
Yeah.
get it out and put it on paper. But after that, everything was great. My writing process started back in 2020 when I started writing the book. It wasn't every single day, but it was this. just pen to paper, expressing my ideas and thoughts. And finally, last year, December 2024, when it was published.
What's been the best fan letter you've gotten from any of your books?
That it's helping change people's lives, that it's a kind of different perspective. I talk about in the books simple things that we don't sometimes notice, simple habits that we get to practice. We don't learn those in school.
Yeah.
So being able to distill that, and there is also a summary guide in the end of the book that summarizes the key points, what the whole book is about.
So what about podcasting? Podcasting is kind of, it became so big around 2020. How much fun is it to do the podcast and to put that out to the masses?
It's incredible. Podcast allowed me to connect to people whom I would otherwise would never spoken to, connected me from people all across the globe, men and women from different walks of life. It also helped me realize my dream of becoming a writer, as one publisher who was a single parent came on the podcast and she invited me to be part of her book. And so it's been an incredible adventure.
So let me ask you this. How do you balance all of this out? To be a coach, to help people find their way, you kind of have to get into their world and it can get heavy. How do you protect yourself and your soul and your life, yet do the best job that you can every day?
By practicing the habits that I share in my book.
Yeah.
For to maintain physical health, I'm a great believer of morning routines, how you start your day, not when, but how, with what intention you set and what you do for yourself, and practicing things like that, practicing gratitude, being grateful for the things that are working in a life, being present. Oftentimes life is so fast and we don't pause and we don't notice, we don't take a picture with our mental antenna of pausing and savoring the moment, whether it's a smile on a child's face or sunrise, how the sky changes colors, and being present to that, practicing forgiveness. When you have an argument with somebody during the day, don't bring it to the next day. Let it stay behind, because every day is an opportunity for you to create something different for yourself. And another one, I'm a great believer of hobbies and doing something that sets your soul on fire every single day for 10 minutes or more. So for me, it's singing. It's been one of my catalysts in my healing journey. It allowed me to sing what I couldn't speak. And now I sing every day, and it's been an incredible adventure as well.
So if you could have a dream guest on your podcast, anybody in the world, and you could sit down, talk to them, someone that might help you on your journey, who would that be?
I don't
Which,
know.
which means we're going to
Um,
put it out there into the universe.
some a single mom who have been there, done that,
Yeah.
who is very successful. I would love to speak to her.
So let me ask you this. If you were to have a dream tonight or get transported into a time machine to an earlier time when, say, you were 18 years old, ready to go out into the world, what advice would you impart based on all the wisdom that you've gained over the years, all the experiences? What advice would you give that younger version of you?
Believe in yourself, do what sets your soul on fire, and don't listen to anybody who have not lived the dream life you want to create.
So let's say you walk into a room of everybody that's bought your books, lives you've changed, you've coached, you've spoken to, anybody that knows you, even in that corporate world that you worked with in a professional sense. And you swim through that group of people to a podium and you can tell them one fun story. Maybe the first concert you went to, the coolest place you traveled to that you didn't realize was going to be as beautiful as it was, jumping out of an airplane, something fun. What would you tell that room of people?
Fun. Well, I call it. I also joined a Toastmaster and I won a humorous speech contest. And I basically shared a day in life of a single mom.
Very
And I
cool.
won second place.
That's awesome. When did that happen?
This was, I believe it was March 2019. So
That's
before pandemic.
okay. That's awesome. That's very cool. So, of everything that you've done, accomplished, and evolved to at this point in your life? What are you ultimately the happiest about that's happened in your life?
Realizing my dreams.
Yeah.
So I realized the dream of becoming a writer. I realized the dream of public speaking. Next dream is to sing on stages in front of thousands of people. And ultimately, my final dream so far is creating a Reclaim Your Life center where people who lost hope in life can come and rejuvenate themselves. So I haven't accomplished that yet.
So the one thing about having dreams and having high expectations for ourselves is that sometimes we stand on the shoulders of giants, and whether it's conscious or subconscious, it happens. So what's one of the greatest speeches that you've ever witnessed in your life?
I think Brandon Bouchard, and it's not just one speech, but series of speeches. I was in his mastermind and I was constantly listening to his podcasts. Jack Canfield is another one,
Yeah.
Brian Tracy. So I don't have any one particular speech,
Right.
but those are the people. So it's about personal development, about evolving. I'm a great believer. My three key principles is live, dream, and grow. And the grow component is about personal development and growth, how we evolve. We get to learn about ourselves and about the world. And that learning journey actually never stops. And because as you grow, as you learn, you get different kind of challenges presented for yourself. So something, let's say, that happened to you a year ago, you probably look at it now and laugh at that. Like, why was it even a challenge? Now you get a different kind of level challenge as you evolve, as you change, and we continually growing and evolving with the hope that you came here to create a human experience. Why not create the best one yet? And you
Absolutely.
can do that by learning from one another
For
about
sure.
yourself.
And it seems like podcasting, I'm going back to that idea, is that's one of the greatest ways of doing that. It's such a wondrous intermingling of human beings all over the world, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So, what was the first book that you read growing up that you loved, that made you want to read, and maybe eventually planted the seed for you to write yourself?
Probably the first one was in Russian, which is my first language,
Yeah.
but I don't recall any particular one right now. Where the dream of writing came. So on my morning walks, as I was restoring back to myself, I used to use my first hour of the day to do, I think Tony Robbins call it the power hour, when you get to envision your life. So I basically wrote on a piece of paper what kind of life I want to have, to create. And one of the items was I wanted to be a published author. And that when it starts, so it's in 2015. And I used to memorize my list and I would walk around and I would speak it, I would visualize it, I envision how it will be. And then I kind of forgotten about it. And then the dream of becoming a writer came true in 2022. So how many? 6 years, seven
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
for it to come to realize,
Yeah.
because I wasn't consistent. I mean, I had that and I fell off the wagon a little bit. But the universe remembered what I wanted to create and it gave me that ability to do that. And now writing is such an amazing medium as well. Yes, you're sharing your ideas, but you're also healing yourself in the process when
Uh-huh.
you write. And then you go back and you reread what you've written with any book, not just your own, but if you take any kind of book and you read it 2 3 times across a couple of years, you're gonna get different insights every time you read, because your mind, your experience about the world had grown, and now you get to re-envision it better. But the best part of writing also is healing, self-healing.
Absolutely.
How you're expressing everything that's on your soul. Sometimes you think, oh, I have nothing to write about, and you have, they call writer's block. But we have so many stories and so many experiences. You know how when we go to the corporate world, we went to a college to get a degree and we have this piece of paper to prove our worth and for us to our ability to open a mouth. But what about your other life? You're not just your college degree and you're not just your job. You're so much bigger and better than that. What about your lived experiences? I mean, you've grown, you have family, you traveled the world, or you did so many things. Those things are undocumented. They're just simply memories. They're simply experiences. And those are also stories, because before the written word, people were connecting with each other by storytelling,
Yeah.
by sharing those things. And when you write, you get to document that other part of your life. And who knows, maybe it could be a page in someone else's survival guide, or it could inspire people to go after their dreams, to pursue different ideas, and not just be that I just went to the corporate and this is my identity. You're so much bigger than that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone that reads your books, everyone that tunes into your podcast, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm still evolving and growing. You know how I said before, we are the judge and the cheerleader, and
Yep.
and the so I'm still behind. I feel like, but then when I speak to other people, it's like, you've done so much.
Yeah. I know the feeling. I get it. I totally get it. So if anyone wants to pick up your books, tune into your podcast, hire you, ask questions, any of the good business in your world, where do they go?
They can go to my website, which is irinashehovsov.com. My YouTube channel is called Happiness Academy _ on YouTube. Podcast is Single Parent Success Stories, and the other one is called Reclaim Your Life with Irina, available on all the podcasting platforms, and all of the books are available on Amazon.
I will put all of these links in the show notes. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much for taking a minute out, and keep spreading the light. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Looking to get new clients to your business through cold calling or email marketing? At Agency Y, they envision a world in which small and big companies have equal chances to win new customers in the market. Their purpose is to bring parity and reduce the gap between large and small firms with the help of their cold calling and cold email marketing services. Use the code Joe Dimino 10 at www.agencyyyy.org/coldcallingjoe.php or www.agencyyyy.org/emailmarketingjoe.php to get 10% off your first order. This is Joe Dimino of Neon Jazz and Famous Interviews, and I stand behind Agency Y to meet your business dreams.